Greetings and welcome to another episode of Kyusho Korner. I'm Sensei Mish. This is Thomas Lee. On this episode, we're going to talk about both stomach 9 and 10. I could probably do an episode for each one, but the reason I want to combine them is that 9 is kind of special and 10 really isn't. But it's so close together that essentially if you're going to be, because they lie right about here, if you're going to be striking at these points, you're going to you're going to be striking most likely both of them at the same time. And there's a lot of techniques when we come in, we're hitting with these two knuckles, and well, we're going to be hitting both the points at the same time. So that's why we're kind of putting them together. Now, depending on depending on the organization, articles that you read, whether it's from Dillman or Dragon Society or Kyusho International or Kyusho Institute or whatever, there's a varying thought process on, is this a really dangerous set of points? Is it not? I remember when I was early on in my pressure point training, I mean, we used to hit these points all the time, and it wasn't like we had really no finesse. It was whoa, and we were coming down and hitting those points, and then we heard, if you hit the point a certain way, after 7 years you're going to have heart failure, you're going to die. And so all the people that I was training with, we were all looking at the clock going, it's almost 7 years. Are we all just going to die? Well, I'm still around, and that 7 years was many, many, many moons ago. So, when it comes to pressure points, we do want to be mindful when we're training. This is in the neck region, so of course we want to be a little bit more mindful because we don't want to do any, long-term damage, because you got you have a major artery behind there. You've got your trachea and your throat there. So you want to, you still want to be careful. You want to be good to your uke, all right? So when it comes to these points, so these points lie right about here. So if you look at somebody who has an Adam's apple, and Thomas nor I do, my son Ashton does. He'd probably be a great model for this, but he's at work right now. So, but they lie right about here. Stomach 9 is here, stomach 10 is here. And so if you looked at the Adam's apple, it would basically just draw straight across, and there's 9. Okay. Now when we strike these points, we want to strike them. It can be struck in a couple different ways. Generally, we want to go 45 degrees in and towards the neck, and we're going to get some type of reaction. I first really learned about these points from Sensei Dillman, and he would have people take their hand up, put their knuckles along here, and then you just kind of punch the knuckles. So it's like, I'm blocking, and you can still hit the point and knock and hit those. If I was going to come in, I might come in and strike with those 2 points. I'm going to get some type of reaction. Now when we're activating, the body's going to have a couple different reactions depending on how we strike. So if we take this point and we strike upward, so 45 degrees in and up, the body is going to kind of open up. All right, so kind of that yang type of body reaction. So we come up, you notice he kind of comes up, he has that stepping back. If I take this point and I still go 45 degrees in and towards the neck but down, he's going to have that kind of that yin reaction. So we go here, as you see, he kind of tucks in. All right, so so you see that I'm activating this by push, okay, but this can also be activated by strike, as in preferably like say a backhand, or say the person goes up, protect, and then we go in for we can just punch that hand. All right, so now when it comes to some of the special things about these points, again, it's stomach, so it is a positive It is positive, so it is yang. It also takes on, by nature, just a general earth, because stomach is elemental, is earth element. Stomach 9 in particular is the intersection point of the gallbladder meridian, kind of internal lines. And so 9 could also take on the elemental value of wood. 10, not so much, but 9 specifically. And then, of course, 9 again is also it's one of the 36. It's one of the 36 points listed in the Bubishi. So you've got all these different elements. Now, when it comes to this point as being a quote-unquote knockout point, you're looking at more of a circulatory knockout, because when you strike, as I said earlier, we have a major artery behind here. So you really have, you kind of have the carotid sinus is what it's called. It's kind of where all kind of the arteries and veins kind of come together and supply the brain with blood. And you also got the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve comes down here, and it's vagus and not Vegas, like Las Vegas. So it's vagus, V-A-G-U-S. So when I'm striking that, that actually tells the body to lower the blood pressure. So you're lowering the blood pressure to the brain, essentially getting that circulatory knockout. All right. I've done this, for those of you who don't know, I work in a hospital. I was playing around with this once. Had somebody take my blood pressure, and then not striking the points, but simply just rubbing and just kind of activating that point as a rub. And then they did my blood pressure again, and it actually, not super noticeably, but it was significant, where normally you wouldn't have that type of lowered blood pressure just between, having it done and then a couple minutes having it done again. So just right there. And I would take this, play with this yourself and do that same test, because it does tend to lower that blood pressure. So, all right, lots of information in this video. Take notes if you have to, rewatch it. I always encourage, just rewatch all my videos. I like that. Anyway, take this back to your dojo, play, have fun, and always remember, be good to your uke. See you on the next one.